Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the 20-minute yoga for recovery. What is that exactly? It's about you. It's about you slowing down, nourishing the vessel, giving it lots of love, exhaling. Let that exhalation be your muse. So let's get started. You do need your attitude. Check it. Blanket, bolster, block, all that yoga stuff. If you have any questions or concerns, always email me. I'm there for you. So getting started today. Oh, and by the way, for those that are new to the platform, I am Teresa Guignot, your yoga guide. And this is my true passion and love for you. A mere reflection of what I feel about myself, and I share it into the world. So what really keeps on coming up is a lot of lower back issues. And as much as I suggest, invite humans to work not just their abdominals, but their whole, say, attitude. Are they eating healthy? Are they, taking in educational and healthy visual aids? Are they getting out in fresh air? All these are really, really important to be positive, to be uplifted, to want to do this, because it takes a willingness. So today, I really want us to just lay down on the mat. And the most important piece is the exhalation. There's a lot to learn as a beginner. You might just feel like you're, sucking on a fire hose. The water's coming in too quickly. So slow it down. This is not for those that want to go fast, fast, fast. Slow down. So we're going to lay down. And if I miss anything, it's just called in the moment. And you'll notice for those that have been coming back to this program, I've changed lighting. It might be way off. And the sound, I've been working diligently to work this huge space into a smaller space so it's acoustically sounding better. So we're going to roll onto the back side, and you'll see I have a bird's eye view there. Once you lay down and place the back of your skull, most of you on a folded blanket, because the occipital, meaning the back of the skull, we tend to be in a position of this, worried about the future, or in a down position, looking down at the ground. We want to stay neutral in our neck. So that's why I do offer a little folded blanket. These blankets are the best. You can always purchase them online. So once you lay down, hug your knees to your chest, and you'll notice that a lot of people with lower back issues, that's where it begins. They feel it. That's not where it begins, but this is where they feel it. So hugging your knees into your chest is a wind relieving pose, and it lengthens the lower back muscles. So we want to gently lengthen them, not push them into that lengthening, meaning knees to chest. The further away the knees are, the more arched your back is. So we want to tone the belly button in, hold onto your knees individually, and even open up your knees and draw your knees towards your outer side ribs. Some of you can bring your knees into your chest, depending on breasts and belly. So again, if you need more space for those, to the side. And just waddling around in those hips, first of all. So we want to begin gently, being aware of where the issues and the tissues are. Remember, this is about recovery. So we are really being in the moment and noticing what we are noticing in the moment. So don't worry about yesterday, and tomorrow does not exist at all, because it's now. So be here now, and I'm going to gently release the feet to the mat. Bring your feet as wide as your yoga mat. Take note of how that feels. Find the edge of your yoga mat. Have a bolster handy just in case. And then on your exhalation, we're going to let the knees fall out to the right. Once they fall out to the right, you'll feel the internal rotation of the left thigh bone, the external rotation of the right thigh bone. And you may get triggered in your lower back. We're just getting started. In-breath, knees to center, and then exhale your knees to the other side. So you're literally playing on the inner and outer edges of your feet and your heels. Take this very, say in the moment, in-breath to the center, full breath in, full exhalation to the other side. So keep on moving in that. That's the beginning offering, is just to warm up and to move the body with breath. So important to use that exhalation. The exhalation is healing. The exhalation gives us permission to move forward, and to let go, to surrender. So follow your breath, in-breath to center, fullness of the in-breath, and when you're ready to exhale, the knees go to the other side. Your arms, as I mentioned, could go anywhere by the side. If you prefer to reach them in flexion overhead, because that feels good to lengthen the back muscles, then go for it. You can even move your face in opposite direction of your knees. That is really highlighted for those that need a great twist from the crown of the head through the whole spine to the very coccyx, the tailbone. And you can pause this and do this for like a whole 20 minutes if you wanted to. And you can also take this anywhere in your house. You can lay on your floor. You can even watch your favorite programs, your educational programs, and listen to your favorite book and lay on the floor and do this while you are being educated. This is great stuff. Well, we're going to move on. On your next in-breath, when your knees come to center, heel-toe your feet hip distance apart, meaning in line with your sitting bones. Reassess your lower back, your bum, and then gather the knees back into your chest and give them a squeeze, and then release them back down. Take your left knee, hug it in towards your chest, externally rotate that left knee, and take your left ankle to your right thigh. So make sure you do have your yoga paraphernalia around you, because now we're going to hover the right foot up off the floor, flex both feet towards the kneecaps, spread your toes, and then start to move around once again in your pelvis. You'll feel all kinds of stuff going on. Perhaps, or maybe not. Then we're going to take the left arm between the thighs and interlace the fingers at the knee crease or the shin, depending on your range of motion. Shoulders and head stay down, the lower back stays neutral. There are those, I understand, that do need to have your yoga strap handy, so that when you are in this position and you're not able to grab a hold of the interlaced fingers in front of your knee shin or your knee crease, due to whatever reasons, no judgment, take your yoga strap in front of your shin, thread your index finger and middle finger onto the strap, and then grip it. Make a fist, and then take the least amount of strap as possible so that your head and shoulders are down, but your arms are straight. So that's you getting closer to that similar crunch that we're all doing here, but you just don't have that range of motion yet. So limit your strap so that your elbows aren't bent and your shoulders are rolling forward. You got that, right? So breathe. That was a lot of explaining that one. Rock and roll, and then we're going to stretch those legs up towards the sky. Release the left foot, externally rotate the right knee, right ankle to left thigh, and take a moment before you interlace your fingers or use your yoga strap. Just wield it around and notice how your back feels. And it's the exhale. So pay attention to the breath. And I might have speeded into this 20-minute practice. For those that are just beginning, you could go back to other episodes. Start at the bottom of the website and work your way to the most current. And then you'll catch up and be in that boop, 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 boop. Okay? And not that you need to catch up. Threading the needle, interlaced fingers, knee crease, shin, or strap. Hug, hug, hug. Keep the flexion of both feet. And then drawing that left quad closer to your chest. Good. Couple more rounds of breath here, really emphasizing the exhalation. And then when you're ready to stretch those legs up towards the sky, do that. And then release your feet back to the mat, bringing your feet hip distance apart. So bring your feet together first, then keeping your heels together, open up the balls of your feet, like plie your feet, and then lift your heels and place your heels in line with your toes. That's hip distance. Take a moment there, then lengthen your tailbone and lift your hips. So you're lengthening your tailbone towards your knees, lifting your hips, and then snuggling your arms underneath your back, so that your shoulder blades come together and your middle finger grazes your heel, pressing into the back of the occipital of the head. Start to elevate your hips a little bit more, producing a bridge pose. Your chin is tucked in towards the notch of your throat, and you are literally looking towards the tip of your nose or closing your eyes. Keep your inner thighs hugging towards each other. Place your palms down, and you'll see that my middle finger's just grazing the back of the heels, and keep on working your shoulder blades together. And then from here, lifting your hips by lengthening the tailbone toward your knees for 5, for 4, press the palms down, 3, 2, and then dismantle your shoulders, release the bum, hug your knees back into your chest. You've got this. Stir your femur bones around. Notice that energy. This is all the warm up. Then we're going to go through a sequential order. Okay, so building strength in your lower back. So once again, plant your feet down. Find the length of your arms, shoulder blades tucked under back of the skull. Hug those hips or those arms underneath the hips. Just elevate the hips enough to find the back of your heel with the middle finger. Start to elevate those hips, reassess shoulders and head. Once you secure your full bridge, wherever you are in it, keep your head lengthening, neck lengthening in neutral, that is. And then start to lift the left knee in towards your chest. Keep your hips up nice and high. Then extend through the balls of that left foot and lift even higher. From here, we're going to exhale the bum down and inhale that left leg straight up. Exhale it down, inhale it up. So you're securing arms and shoulders, and do about 3 more of these, about 5. Really reaching up to the fullness of your in-breath and the fullness of your exhalation. And then once you get to that 5, release the left foot, lengthen the tailbone, lift your hips a little bit higher, readjust lower back, upper back, and head for 5. As you breathe that breath for 4, keep your gaze to the tip of the nose for 3, for 2, and then dismantle the arms and lower the bum down. Hug the knees into your chest, rock and roll on the lumbar spine, and notice what you notice. And now we're going to do the other side. So what I mean by notice what you notice is be here in the now. Root the feet, adjust the arms, middle finger, shoulder blades, head. Present that lengthening of the hips. Go slow so it's in the present moment. Lengthen the tailbone towards your knees. Secure arms, head, and shoulders. Pick up the right knee. Extend the right leg through the balls of that foot as if you're wearing high heels. And then reach a little higher. And then exhale down. Inhale fully up. Exhale down. So you're keeping your left leg secure on the floor, hugging those inner thighs towards each other, and doing about the same amount that you did on the other side, this side. So about 5 and 5. You do your numbers, but really accentuate that lifting of the hips, lowering down with the exhale, and when you're ready to release the right foot, dismantle the shoulders, hug your knees into your chest, and rock and roll. Fantastic. Roll to one side, pick yourself up. Hello. Draw your knees in towards your chest. Secure your sacrum, your sitting bones. Some of you have a tail, so sit on the blanket. I'm just going to turn sideways for the sideways profile. So once your knees come up, you can take your knees wider for booby and belly, or directly in front of your chest, but make sure that you're able to sit up tall, and you'll notice my spine is nice and long. Then open your knees up, take your arms inside your knees, grab a hold of the outer edges of your feet, teeter back onto your sacrum, then lifting both heels up. So some of you are having difficulties with this, that's okay. Keep your spine long and keep your heels on the floor, because now, wherever you are, you want to keep that chest lifted. And for those that are lifting the heels up, maybe you can play with extension. And I find that a lot of us don't have that just yet, so you're going to sit with holding on to the ankles and lifting your chest up. And that's the first place of just giving your muscles time to know what you're doing and where you're going with this. So be patient, be here now. So whether you're lifting and extending both legs, bent knees, my spine does not change. Very important piece. Exhale, everyone, release your feet. Release your hands from your feet, of course, and then gently swing your legs back behind you, because now we're going to come into a prone position. Come down onto your tummy, stacking your hands, left hand and right hand, wrists, fingertips to wrists, and let your forehead rest on your hands. Waddle in your pelvis until your hips are secure. Floint your feet. So flointing means pointing. And then from there, let's hover up through the palm of the hands as you tone the belly and contract your quads. So I'm pressing into the tops of my feet. So my knees are hovering by the contraction of my feet, and I'm literally resting my forehead on my hands as I erect my thoracic spine, literally through the connection of my erector spine and my lower back. And you're going to hold this for another 5. So you're lifting up through the forearms, your shoulders are down out of your ears for 4, for 3, 2, squeeze those legs together, and then slowly come down. You can put your head on your cheek, bend your knees and windshield wipe. And because this is a 20-minute practice, let's continue to move into it. So flip the hands, right hand first, left hand down onto the mat. Fuse your forehead to your hands so your nose can breathe on the floor. Secure your feet, contract your quads, and then start to elevate your forearms with your head resting on your hands so that your lower back muscles contract. Lengthen the tailbone towards your heels. Press the feet into the mat for another 5, for 4, for 3, 2, and then release back down. Fantastic. Let's do that again. So flip your hands. So we're constantly flipping the hands so that there's an equal divide. Glue your forehead. When you're ready to rise up for 5, contract those quads, press down into your feet for 4, for 3, for 2, and then settle back down. Take a breather, bend your knees, windshield wipe your legs, flip your hands. You've got this. Rest your forehead, secure it, feet secure, contract your quads, rising up for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and then releasing back down. And then lift your head, curl your toes under, slide your hands to your lowest ribs, lift the front of your shoulders, neutral neck, so you look straight at the mat. Dig your knees into the mat, lift and tone the tummy, pubis comes up off the floor, hands, knees, and toes, press back, tabletop. Reassess your hands as wide as your yoga mat. Pinky finger and ring finger can go off the mat to secure a wider girth for your shoulders. Draw that belly button in, neutral neck, curl the toes, then hover the knees for 5, for 4, for 3, 2, 1, then lift your hips, flex the shoulders, move your chest toward your thighs, lift your heels, sway your hips around, and this is your downward dog inversion, okay? So it's like prep for handstand. Press the floor away with the base knuckle index finger, then in-breath your shoulders more forward, step your feet further back until your shoulders come directly over your wrists, plank pose. Lift your inner thighs, press your heels back, extend through the crown of the head. So we're really working those inner thighs up and lengthening the tailbone as you press the floor away for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and then exhale into your downward facing dog. And we're going to play in those two. So when you're ready to in-breath to plank, feel that energy, exhale, hold it here, inhale, hold it there. Now lift your heels, so really come up onto your toe pads, and now hover your knees away from the floor for 5, for 4, 3, 2, plank those legs for 5, 4, 3, 2, exhale, downward facing dog. So playing in the structures of your being, if you need to lower your knees completely, please do. Lift that belly button in breath to plank for 5, 4, 3, 2, press the floor away, bend your knees so you're right up on those toes, and the knees just hover or take them to the floor for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, downward facing dog. We're just going to do one more round like that. So this is strengthening the whole body, right from the root of your hands, the soles of your feet to the root of your hands. In breath plank, 5, 4, press the floor away, 3, 2, onto the tips of your toes, hover the knees for 5, knit that belly button in, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then downward facing dog. Well done. So from here now, we're going to in-breath into your plank, slowly lower the knees, lift the feet up off the mat, knit that belly button in, turn your elbow creases to face your index finger and thumb, and start to lean forward through the shoulders. So your shoulders are going to go past your wrists. Bend your elbows back, let your pubis touch as you keep your shoulders lifted, and then press back up again. Okay, so really practicing that one. Turn your elbow creases to face your index finger and thumb, knit the belly button in, bending your elbows as much as you lengthen your body weight forward, pubis touches the floor, and then pressing back. Keep your inner elbows hugging in towards your side ribs. Couple more rounds, slow it down. Because you're going faster is not going to strengthen your muscles. It's going to shock your ligaments and tendons. We need to muscle first, root it first. Couple more rounds, slow it down. If your knees start sliding back and your shoulders are literally hanging up into your ears, then you've gone too far back. So you got to keep that. Come all the way down onto your pubis the last round, And then you'll notice, like, I slip back, my hands are at my boobies now, so you want them at your lowest ribs. Place your hands at the lowest ribs, place the tops of your feet onto the mat, and then drag your hands isometrically, meaning they're not really moving, towards your hips, and lift your heart and extend through the crown of the head. So your neck is neutral. Press those hands deep into the mat. Think about dragging them towards your hips. Now lift your legs. See if you can squeeze your legs together and even bring the inner edges of your big toes to touch. If this hurts your pubis, place a blanket underneath your pubis. So really reaching up without bending the knees, and then keeping your neck neutral for another 5 more. 4, 3, 2, and then release the feet down, and then we're going to do it all over again. So stay upright, feel the erector spinae working, hands are dragging back, neck is neutral. Squeeze those legs together, lift the inner thighs back and apart, and lift your legs for 5. This way, you can also hover your hands up off the floor if you want to work a little harder. 4, 3, 2, and then release back down. Take a breather, just a breath, and then let's do it one more time. So you stay erect in your spine as much as you can, squeezing those legs together, keeping your knees straight, not bending them. Squeeze those inner thighs up, back and apart, and then hover your hands for the last one if you haven't already. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and then release your hands. Curl your toes under, lift the shoulders, hands, knees, and toes, push back, sit back onto your heels. Take a moment here, breathe that breath, hello bird's eye view, swing your legs out in front of you, slowly roll yourself back down onto the mat, tone that belly button in. And this is where we're going to work in the abdominals, laying down. Keep the back of the skull down if, again, you need that blanket. I'm feeling like I'm pretty rigid today, but that's okay. Let the fluidity happen. Take your hands to your quads and straighten your arms, just like that. Okay, now tone the belly button so much that you feel the lower back imprint into the floor. Really secure your arms. Isometrically, you're going to press your quads against your hands, and then hover your shins parallel off the floor, and then resist your quads against your hands for 10. So you're really knitting the belly button in for 9. Your neck is neutral, your gaze is to the tip of the nose, or close your eyes for 8, 7. Straight arms. I'm not a counter, but you do this for as long as you feel you need to. Don't overdo it. You'll feel your contraction of your abdominals, and then exhale. Hold the knees into your chest. And we're going to do that 2 more times. Take your time. Slow it down. Give it the best in the moment, the now. And like, it's like when my spouse cooks, he always, most often, overdoes the spices. He thinks more is better, and I'm always like, that could have been like a quarter less. So press your hands against your quads. That comes from a judgment, and it comes from an observation of lack. So press and impatience. Be patient. Press. Are you counting? I'm feeling it. And then relax. Do 1 more. So you give yourself some time to breathe, and then get right back into it. Resisting hands against your quads. Fantastical. And then relax. Good. Now open up your arms, let your knees just hang out by your side body. Give yourself a little rock and roll. If you want to do that windshield wipe, that was awesome too, feeling that. Adjusting your sacrum, because now, last part, hugging your knees to your chest. You could either turn your palms down or palms up, depending on what your shoulders feel like they want to do at the scapula, the shoulder blades. So what we want to accomplish here is the internal external obliques strengthening, slowing down, and using the secureness of the shoulders and the head to stay down to weigh the knees to a side, literally dripping them to the side using your abdominals as you exhale, and then inhale up to center. Okay, so we're using the upper thoracic spine, shoulders, and head to anchor as we twist and use our abdominals, all of the abdominal muscles. So on your exhalation, you're twisting, but keeping your opposing shoulder down, and then you inhale up to center. You got it. And then you exhale to the other side. So important for a lot of you that golf or that have, say, issues in your tummy, meaning it's bloated. You do need to seek out professional support as far as your nutrition for bloated tummies. You might need a probiotic or watch what you're eating as far as sugar and dairy. Those are two things that really bloat the tummy in most human beings. And if you have a bloated tummy, sure enough, you're going to have a sore back. Because when your tummy expands, your back is weakened because there's no structural strength there, right? Oh, I could talk to you all day about this. Do this continuously at your own pace, using your breath. So it's an exhale to a side. And you can even turn your face in the opposite direction. Inhale to center. Exhale to the other side, slowing it down. About 2 more rounds on each side. Again, slow it down. You're going to feel more of a zest, a oomph, some moxie in that, as opposed to just rushing through it. I see a lot of people do this. Talk about hurt your back. So slow it down. Feel the muscles. Recruit the muscles that need to do the work. Alignment first. Your attitude, align, and then action. Good. On your next in-breath, let your feet rest down onto the floor. Secure the back of the skull, your shoulder blades. Extend your legs completely straight. I'm off my mat, so I'm going to move up. I'm going to go over a few minutes on this one today because I'm just totally experimenting. Actually, remove the blanket from underneath your occipital. Place the back of the skull behind the eyes down. Arms, you're going to tuck them underneath your derriere a little bit. You could squeeze your shoulder blades closer together, pressing back into the skull, digging down into your heels so you look like a pencil. Claw the mat with your base knuckles and finger pads and press down into heels, palms, arms, shoulders, and head. The next thing we're going to do is lengthen the tailbone and lift the hips. It's a tiny bit of movement while you exhale. So literally I could slide a piece of paper underneath here. So I'm bridging by lifting my tailbone and lengthening it towards my heels by pressing the floor away with my arms, head, and heels for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and then surrender. So feet are flexed. Tiny movements mean a lot. Okay, let's do that again. Tuck, tuck, secure, hands, palms, head, heels. Lengthen the tailbone, lift, hover. So you're lengthening up through the tailbone. You're squeezing your legs. Keep your big toes touching if you can for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and then dismantle. That means bring your shoulders out, let your bum relax. Take a couple breaths, and then last time, tuck it all back under again. Secure yourself. And when you're ready, press down and lengthen the tailbone. It's not how high you get your hips. It's the lengthening of the tailbone and feeling those erector spine and those muscles, in the back. About 10 counts. You can count down from 10. And then completely dismantle. Now, bend your knees. Oh, yeah. Lengthen the tailbone so your lower back secures on the floor. Hug those knees into your chest. Rock from hip to hip. And then from this position, you can cross your ankles, hold your knees, hold your feet, or uncross your ankles, hold your knees, and roll yourself up vertically, or roll to a side and press yourself up. I like to vertically roll myself up using my abdominals, and then come to sit. And I know I've gone over the time today, but that's only because I was babbling a lot. Not really babbling. So take a moment to feel what you're feeling and give yourself that exhalation. If you prefer to sit on a bolster when you come into cross-legged seated position, I do. Let us reestablish that breath once again. The importance is the exhalation. If we're holding our breath and we're not exhaling, that is stress, that's anxiety. There's a whole episode on that one. So bring it down into the belly. Allow yourself to slow down, to be here now in the moment. Be here now in the moment. Be here now in the moment. Slow down. And imagine if you just did this one episode, say 4 times a week, 5 times a week, 7 days in a row, maybe a 40-day challenge, a 30-day challenge. You will feel first and see the difference. Okay? So from my light to your light, the exhale is the most important thing that we can possibly do for ourselves. Let go and surrender. Namaste and Om. Om is the universal consciousness sound of peace. It's a vibrational frequency of love. And this is all about loving yourself. Until the next episodes,